Hello and welcome to Deserted Isolation Discs, a play on words and tribute to the BBC's famous Desert Island Discs podcast. We're Kate Hamer and Louis Saha, the founders of AxisStars, which is a platform to connect stars from the worlds of sport and entertainment with trusted brands and service providers. Obviously, a lot of these stars are at home due to coronavirus isolation at the moment, so we thought we'd work together and bring some entertainment to everyone stuck at home. We hope it's not going to be too long a series, but we have got a good chunk of members so we can keep you entertained for a while. Today we are joined by comedian Tez Ilyas. Hi Tez.
Hello Kate and Louis.
And of course Louis is here.
Yes, I'm very pleased to have you on our podcast, Tez. How are you?
I'm good, brother, man. I'm not too bad. I'm in Blackburn. I'm at home with my mum. And honestly, I cannot recommend being isolated with your mum enough. She's just treating me like I'm a 14-year-old kid, just cooking for me, looking after me, cleaning up after me. And who am I to stop her from doing that?
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think it's massive. I think it's a massive reset. You know, you have like your family maybe away, and you realize how important they are. You want to keep them safe and all that. So it's nice to have the opportunity to actually get her in your space to actually, I would say cherish. Is that the word? I think cherish the moment.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. Because with my, I mean, you know, when you were playing football, with my job, I'm always away from home. I'm traveling a lot, going to different cities, performing, even different countries sometimes. And so to have this extended period of time at home, like you said, I'm cherishing it because who knows, it's probably a once in a lifetime thing. Even though it's horrible, you've got to take the light from the darkness, right?
So what is your standard day now? It's like, what is your morning and your midday and the night? What's your isolation day?
Okay, so I don't see the morning anymore. I'm not even sure there is a morning anymore because I don't see it. So if it's happening without me. At the moment, because it's Ramadan at the moment. So I have to stop eating at 4 a.m. around that, between 3:30 and 4 a.m. So I stay up till then. I have my last bit of food and water. I then pray and go to bed. I then tend to get up around, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, Louis, sometimes it's 3 p.m. So 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I get up. I then get up, have a shower, do my afternoon prayers. I then do a bit of work, recording podcasts or a bit of admin, maybe write some jokes. I then do my evening prayers, and then it's time to eat. And then I do my night prayers, and I just chill with my mum, and we watch some TV and stuff. At the moment, it's quite calm. I'm doing a bit of exercise as well, just before dusk, when I'm allowed to eat again. I do my 15 minutes of exercise to make sure that, because I can't do too much because I haven't eaten or drank all day, but I do enough of what I can, a few press-ups, just a few high-intensity interval training, but for about 10 to 15 minutes, just to keep myself in a little bit of shape. So at the moment, that's my day, man. It's been going quite well. So basically, I'm praying, sleeping, and eating when I can.
No, it's good. It's good. So on the way that you actually described that, this is a tip in a way.
Yeah. So, definitely.
Do you have a tip like you can give like to followers in some ways, and like what is like at the moment, especially if you do Ramadan, it's like to still get active or just like to be very calm?
I think it depends. Usually I like being active because the quicker the day goes for me, the easier for me Ramadan is. For some people, they don't like being active because it gets them too tired and too thirsty, and they prefer to be doing nothing. I'm trying to have a mixture of that. I'm trying to have a mixture of like just chilling out. But I've extended my sleeping hours, so at least I see less of the day, so that I have a lesser period of which I am hungry and thirsty. So I've kind of adapted to the time. Another thing that I'd highly recommend is meditation. So for the first time in my life, I'm meditating. There's the app on the App Store called Calm, C-A-L-M, and I've downloaded that, and it has guided meditations because I've never meditated before. I don't really know how to do it. So this app has guided meditations, teaching you how to meditate, giving you tips. And it's only 10, 15 minutes a day. And that's really, really good. It's really helped with any anxiety or any anxiousness. And it's helped me be more in the moment and really calm me down. And help me even be more patient with my mum, because we know we don't have a lot of patience for our parents sometimes. So it's really helped me. So I can definitely recommend that.
Yeah, I think that's the app that has been advertised by LeBron James. Is that right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe, but it's a very popular app, and I think that and Headspace are the most popular meditating apps. And I ended up going with Calm, just because it's the first one that I saw. And there's a free version and then a subscription version as well. Obviously, with the free version, you get less stuff, but with the subscription version, you get access to the whole platform. But yeah, I can highly recommend doing that. It definitely has made me think differently about work and how I approach things in life.
Good. So, and in the same way that you may have like tips in cooking, so in the kitchen, do your mom has like special dishes for us to know about?
Yeah, man, my mum's a really good cook. She's incredible. One of the things I wanted to learn in isolation was how to cook, because don't get me wrong, I can do pasta and stuff like this, but I'm not a cook in the meaningful sense of the word. So I thought, you know what? It's isolation. You're gonna be at home, locked down for maybe 3 months. Learn how to cook. I thought I'll just learn my mum's greatest hits, her pilau, her lamb curry, her kebabs, her samosas. And at the moment, I'm not gonna lie to you, Louis, it's not happened, but the intention is still there. The problem is my mum starts cooking too early in the day and I'm still in bed. So either my mum has to start cooking later or I have to start getting up earlier. And at the moment, we haven't quite negotiated that.
That's kind of like organization that you have to find. Yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
that's fitness should be very important in a way to keep your mind straight and having like the great set mind and all that. So it's not super easy. You have to always like find like the balance between the Ramadan. It's not easy. Sport. Yeah. Cooking, trying to find the time to learn recipes and all that, it must be like a very big challenge. I mean,
yeah, man. How are you finding it? Do you cook?
I do cook, yeah, because I've got my kids who's coming like quite regularly, and I don't cook that much when I'm alone because I live alone. So I challenge myself more when the kids are here, or actually my kids are challenging me. They want to do stuff and all that. But I really find it therapeutic in some way. It's like you get into do things in a certain way. You see, my kids are really into like bios. They have an app, so that's another tip that is called Yuka, where they can see the actual, I would say, the good into the product that we buy. So I've been challenged with Nutella, with all those. Like big brand, and sometimes they actually told me, oh no, this one is not great, or all those things. So it was good to actually see from their own eyes, from their own perspective, what they see about that kind of like food industry. So it was it's good, and so all those type of discussion is great in that confinement. Let's say if there is any positivity, is to actually discuss about simple stuff, and it's around the kitchen at the moment, so it's good.
That's cool, man. And what have you done in terms of your fitness? Because you're an athlete, right, bro? You were a professional footballer, most of your life. So what are you doing to like maintain any sense of fitness?
It's funny because I would say since I stopped, I was struggling like big time to do any kind of like activity where I felt like I needed my mind into it. Like it was anything that was hard, I couldn't do it. I just like had enough, because during my career I really worked really, really hard. And since the confinement and everybody has to stay at home, I really started to get on it again. So I managed to hit some balls on tennis because I've got a wall. And I'm managing as well like a lot of like gym, because my second one is like he's into football, but he's like really into lifting weights and all that. So I've been into it. It's like way more, but I'm not into cardio that much. I'm still like really struggling with that. So we managed to find some kind of motivation. My first one is a basketball player, so he's
nice.
Like he watched MG things, the Michael Jordan series. So
it's so good.
Yeah, it's
It's
unbelievable.
so good. I've
Yeah,
been watching it, and I finished the latest episodes came out yesterday, and
yeah,
it's unbelievable. You're just watching it, and you're like, the drive and motivation he has, and the way he just dragged his teammates to
yeah.
success.
It's
On,
unbelievable. Yeah.
but then you think all the things he has sacrificed as well to do that is yeah, it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Yeah, so that's basically the thing that you watching on Netflix, like documentaries or whatever.
I've been watching a lot of TV. So I've been watching, there's a new series that came out that I finished last week called Gangs of London.
Mm,
And it's from the director. I don't know if you ever saw The Raid, the Indonesian martial arts films. They're very, very violent, amazing fighting
mm.
scenes. But that guy, he came to England and he made this series called Gangs of London, and it's very violent. The choreography is amazing. The storyline's brilliant. I love that sort of action kind of stuff. So that's
Mm.
been really good. So I've been watching a lot of TV. I caught up on Stranger Things. That's really good. That was on the back of my mind to catch up on. Yeah, man. What have you been watching?
Oh yeah, the MG one was like my focus, but I look a lot of like documentaries in some ways. So all the dirty money things and you know like anything like yeah in the planet. So I'm like someone who go bed very late. So I've been like really into things that I would say equip myself with some kind of like information that are supposed to know about. So I
Mm.
just like get back to that routine and say, whoa, hang on a minute. Are you sure you understood it? So many people like live and set in stone and think that they really feel like they know about it, but they don't. So I just came back from those things that I know about. So being challenged with my children as well. So a lot of my research come from my children actually. So they challenge me a lot, and I really like that. So Netflix is one channel, but I use a lot of kind of yeah, I would say any kind of document that I see on the net or even like on Facebook. I've been challenging myself on a lot of aspect of information. So it's been really important, and I think that that's why we want to have that kind of discussion with you guys, because we want to know what type of I would say experiences that you came up front in your life or in your career that managed to actually, you know, set some kind of standard and could help people to actually understand. Oh, I have a setback. What is your story that could help people who listen to that podcast?
Well, I am in entertainment now. I'm a stand-up comedian and actor. I've been in a few things, but I only started doing this when I was 27 years old, Louis. Before that, I was working in an office. I was a civil servant working for the government. And at 27 years old, I decided to start stand-up comedy as a hobby. It became something that I did after work. And then it started growing and becoming a more serious hobby, and then eventually became a second job. And then eventually, after 6.5 years of doing both, I left my day job to do comedy entertainment full time. But that was a 6.5 year journey in which
Mm.
I couldn't afford to leave my day job because that was paying my bills. And
Mm.
slowly the entertainment was building. And then at the moment that I was earning enough money in entertainment, I could leave the day job behind. But that was a 6.5 year journey, and I started quite late at 27. So what I would say to people is, whatever they're doing at the moment, if they're not happy with it, it is in their power to change their circumstances. They should start a hobby that they've always wanted to do, and maybe it won't become their career, but they will find some fulfillment in it and some joy in it. So I would definitely recommend to people that if you're stuck in a rut, if you don't like your job, if you don't like, even if you're in a relationship that you don't like, or if you want to do a hobby that you've always wanted to do but you've not had the time to do it, honestly, just start doing it, or change your circumstances, find a new job, apply for other things, and I think you'll be better off for it. Because is what is one of the scariest things I ever started doing was doing stand-up comedy, because I have no drama background. I don't have any background in performing or anything like that, but it's just something that I felt like I wanted to do, and I started doing it, and now it's changed my life. So I think that would be my tip to people is, if you've got circumstances in your life that weigh you down or you're not happy about, it's in your power to change them, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that. You know, it's like as like somebody asks me all the time, what is happiness for me? You know, and I always say the first thing that comes in my mind is authenticity. So be yourself in a way that you have
Mm.
to enjoy what you really like. And if you are like not doing it, you know, it's one part or one big part of who you are, who is actually not performing, you know. So on the way to actually get the desire to do a lot of things, you can't even use that big part or always like part of your personality or part of your desire or part of, so this is what I really think that sport has given me. It's just like give me that platform to be who I wanted to be. Not about the sport itself, but me was more about competition. And I need to compete with whoever, and that was part of my life. And this is what I think what you just said, you know, like when you add that shift, because not everybody has the luck to just like end up on the thing that they really like at the start, you know, 20 and define things, you know, it's not easy. So we can, yes, all that time that we spend in that confinement, it's an opportunity to reset and say, hang on a minute, what I really like. You may start cooking, whatever it is. Maybe it's an opportunity to actually find out that this passion was always there, but it wasn't expressed. And then now it's like, hang on a minute, I found myself more in song to learn things, to do sport, whatever it is, you know, because it's maybe linked with your passion. So yeah,
100%.
I always think that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with all that, man.
Yeah. So on the same way, maybe you can give us like some Spotify music that you really, really like that could help us to know you.
Oh man, my Spotify is such a mix.
Yeah.
Like, cause I love so much different music. I love hip hop, American hip hop. I love British grime. Those are probably my biggest two influences. I love American R&B, like, but then I love like rock. I love pop. And then I love Pakistani folk music called Qawwali. So my Spotify is such a mix of all these different things. Like I've got Post Malone, Kendrick Lamar, I've got Skepta, I've got Stormzy, and then I've got random things like I love Spice Girls. A Spice Girls songs will come up, and I'm like, yeah, because that was my song when I was growing up in the '90s. Like I probably appreciate it more now than I did back then. And then sometimes when I'm driving, I've got like a Pakistani folk song that's for 28 minutes long, just so I can listen to it, and it helps me keep awake because it's got an amazing rhythm to it. So, yeah, man, I can definitely recommend to your viewers, if they haven't heard British grime, to maybe find a playlist on Spotify, British grime, or just grime, and they'll find some amazing music on there from British artists who keep it real, working class, and people talking about their real life experiences. So that's something I can recommend to anyone listening to this.
So, Tez, I was about to forget, you know, I would like to ask you to pick 3 people on isolation, you know, a lockdown, 3 people that are alive or history. You have the choice.
Okay, so I would say Muhammad Ali, because we'd have great philosophical discussions. Also, he'd be very, very entertaining. I would say Angelina Jolie from the year 2000. From 2004 for different entertainment purposes. And then the last person I would say is my mum, because that way hopefully I can actually learn something from her. And maybe Muhammad Ali would force me to go to the kitchen and learn how to cook. So yeah, they'd be my 3 people. So Muhammad Ali, Angelina Jolie from the noughties, and my mum.
Brilliant. Yeah, we would like to know about one special moment from your career that you really would like to actually share. Some moment who has like, I don't know how you call it, when you know you have like
goosebumps.
Exactly, goosebumps. You know that special moment.
Okay, so in 2017, Trevor Noah, the famous South African comedian who's got the Daily Show in America, you know, one of the biggest stars in the whole world in my industry, he came to London to do a show at the O2 Arena, 16,000 people, and his team asked me to host the show. So I was the first one to go out in front of 16,000 people and try and entertain them, keep their attention, make them laugh, introduce a couple of guests, and then introduce Trevor Noah. And that was the most surreal experience I've ever had in my life. You know, I'm used to playing in front of people, 100 people, up to sometimes 500 people, but 16,000 people, like it's basically a stadium. That was a novel experience that I will never, ever forget in my life. And it was through my hard work of trying to make this a success and networking and showing people that I'm capable of this. That his team looked at me and thought, this is the guy that we need for the Trevor Noah big show in London. So that was an amazing experience.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I can imagine this. Especially yes, I really like him, the Trevor Noah. It's like very, you are on the same industry because satire is very hard to play around. Is like politically you have to be more correct than before. 20 years back you had that freedom, and now it's like really difficult. So yeah, it must be like for a football player to see Zidane. It's
yeah, exactly. It was incredible.
Yeah, so maybe that the next thing is like you may browse internet and have like as well contributed to content. The last months has been challenging for everybody, but you may have like seen something really interesting, may share something really interesting. It's very important for us as influencers, where we have a voice, where we have like a platform to deliver some information, relevant information. What could be shared from you? What have you seen that you, I think that are very important or very crucial to you right now?
Well, I'm lucky that I'm in an industry where a lot of my friends also do this sort of stuff. They entertain people, and so I think a really good time during this time now is for people to have entertainment, to take their mind off this terrible thing that is happening around the world. So I can recommend my friends' Instagram pages, man. Mo Gilligan, Kay Kurd, Adam Rowe, Guz Khan, myself, Tez Ilyas. I've got some stuff on there. So definitely there are some amazing entertainers out there still producing content during this period to keep people entertained and distracted from what is happening in the real world. And people really welcome that. I've seen everyone's engagement levels have gone up during the past month because people want to find distractions and they want to be entertained. So definitely there will be people in your sphere that follow really good entertainers. So seek them out and support them and follow them and like what they're doing and share it with your friends if you enjoy it as well.
Great. So that's why I think that we have that duty. Whatever is like entertainment in a way that is could be funny. Your page is like, because yes, you are using the actual I would say smart way to analyze situation. Sometimes it's not easy. You are doing a good job in some way, and I think that's why I would love to talk to you about the actual aspect of like this situation, wherever we are not talking about racism in a way that it's a very difficult moment to understand the impact. But that thing come from China. People see things like, oh, hang on a minute, the foreigner has bring something or whatever. All those things are not something that we are really used to discuss with the actual stars in some way. But how we can impact the people view, this perception, and is by being all together as stars. And I like your approach and the way that you manage to use your knowledge and your funny approach to actually manage to actually break any kind of like stupidity, from the opposition in some way.
Yeah.
So that's the I would love to have your input in the strategy for stars like me, or in the sport, who don't know how to build some kind of argument in those difficult moments. How are you going to manage to do that? I don't know, but let's try to find that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I think it's difficult for sports stars because quite often, like take footballers for example, they play for teams, and those teams probably have in their contracts stipulations that means people can't necessarily speak out about social issues because that affects maybe how much money the team will generate in sales and stuff. I appreciate that, because look at Colin Kaepernick in America. He made a stance against police brutality by taking a knee against the national anthem, and he was sacked. They sacked him from his job. He's not been able to play for the last 3-4 years. They took his livelihood away. So I understand from a sports star's perspective, it's very difficult. I looked to heroes of mine like Muhammad Ali and people like that who spoke out against injustices in the world, even though it might have affected them greatly personally. I look at their bravery, and that's what inspires me. for me, I always want to entertain people. That is the job that I'm in. But sometimes, because I've been given this platform, I think, well, why can't I entertain people, but also say the thing that's on my mind as well? So that's what I've been trying to do. I was part of a video you mentioned earlier before we started called "You Clap for Me Now," which was a compilation of a lot of immigrant people in the UK, but also sons and daughters of immigrants, because we know that they also experience racism the same way that immigrants do. And this video was saying that, look, a lot of key workers, a lot of people who work in hospitals, doctors, nurses, but also people now working in groceries, delivery drivers, all those jobs that people are now relying on to get through this horrible moment, a lot of those jobs are staffed by immigrants or maybe sons and daughters of immigrants. And we've seen the discourse, the discussion that's been taking place in Europe and in America over the last 5 to 10 years that's been negative towards that group of people. But now suddenly we're relying on those same people to help us get through this. And we're saying, oh, you clap for us now.
Yeah, like this.
But we've been here before, and hopefully, inshallah, we will continue to be here. So maybe just think about that. Think about that before your actions, and maybe soften your heart towards these people who are just like you, human beings, trying to provide for their families and live their lives.
Yeah, I think that's very good points, and that's why I think sometimes, as we are like in certain position, certain context where sportsmen, as you mentioned, we don't give the right platform. So anytime that those guys will say something or do something, they are the first targets. You've seen that now they haven't asked maybe actors or others to actually cut the wages straight away. You know that the football were the first targets. We know that we pretty much understand, because yes, the true heroes are those guys, the medicine, the doctors, all those are very, very crucial. And this is easy target. We understand that now. I think in this era of digital, there is like tools that are available to gather, like put all those people together, speak about those, equip themselves, understand, oh, your point of view, oh, I didn't know that. So I can reuse it because I have a voice and I can carefully use it in a proper way, because yes, it seems to have like get some kind of traction inside our group where it's like safe, you know. So all those things are the thing that we're trying to work. It's going to take us time, but this is basically what the aim of AxisStars. And then I'm very thankful that you have joined, and we hope that we're going to help you to actually get that kind of confidence as well to do more, because this is really needed, and with humor this is a necessity. Really it is. So yeah, thank you very much again. I think
thank you, man. Thank you, and inshallah, man, your words are very inspiring, so I appreciate that, man.